So you're considering a move to Richmond, but Richmond is a big place. Northside ain't the same as Southside. Sandstone and Stratford Hills are cut from different cloth. Today we will be looking at 7 of Richmond's most popular suburbs. And if you want to know where I'm filming today and why this area is growing so fast, stay tuned to the end. Over the past 5 years, Metro Richmond has added 50,000 new residents, but only 10,000 of those moved into Richmond City. The remaining 40,000 moved into the surrounding counties. So what does that tell us? The real growth story in Richmond right now is happening in the suburbs. Life in the city definitely has its advantages. Unique restaurants and museums, sidewalks and street murals, parks, and other urban perks. But taxes are high, the sewer system is old, and the traffic keeps getting worse. All of this has pushed a lot of buyers further out. Meanwhile, major commercial hubs, new residential communities, and large master plan developments are thriving out in the counties. In today's video, we'll explore the 7 hottest Richmond suburbs where buyers are moving right now. Places with more space, lower tax rates, easier access to major highways, and a lifestyle that many relocation buyers are specifically looking for. Let's kick it off. Number 1, Short Pump. 40 years ago, this area was mostly farmland. Today, it's Richmond's best-known suburban Mecca. If you want a fast-paced, upscale, high-energy environment that's changing by the hour, Short Pump may be the right place for you. The vibe here is new, shiny, and buzzing, drawing in buyers who want convenience, newer communities, shopping, dining, fitness, office parks, and easy access to some of the region's largest employment centers. Short Pump is anchored by premier master plan communities like Twin Hickory, Wyndham, and Greengate that have grown alongside the area's commercial expansion. Traffic is managed by a grid of major multi-lane connectors like I-295, 288, and I-64, making access very convenient compared to some other parts of the region. Short Pump absolutely shines when it comes to high-end dining, luxury fitness centers, grocery stores, and medical offices. You'll find major corporate headquarters out in the Innsbrook Corporate Center, and Short Pump Town Center is the undisputed retail hub of the Richmond region. But Short Pump isn't perfect. Because it's so popular, it's gotten very expensive and competitive. I had buyers submit an offer on a well-situated Twin Hickory property, only to discover that the sellers had received 16 additional offers. That was tough. Home prices here often sit well above other parts of the Richmond region, forcing some buyers to look elsewhere. It can also feel highly commercialized and congested, especially along Broad Street during the holidays or peak weekend shopping hours. So if you're looking for quiet, secluded, or historic charm, Short Pump is probably a little too busy and built up for your taste. Number 2, Midlothian. Are you looking for an area that has that classic hometown feel, but with every modern amenity you could possibly imagine? Midlothian may just be the ticket. Originally a coal mining town, Midlothian now represents classic Richmond suburbia. Even though it has grown into a massive part of Chesterfield County along Route 60, the Midlothian Turnpike, it still has a strong sense of community identity, local history, and established residential neighborhoods. You have iconic master plan communities like Brandermill and Woodlake wrapped around the beautiful 1,700-acre Swift Creek Reservoir. Then you have upscale spots like Moseley, known for its custom designer homes and resort-style amenities, and golf course communities like Salisbury. The area also gives you a strong combination of shopping, restaurants, grocery stores, medical offices, parks, and trails. You can be in a quiet neighborhood setting and still be just a short drive from Westchester Commons, Chesterfield Town Center, or Robius Landing Park. But there are some downsides to Midlothian. The area has expanded really fast, which means serious growing pains. Traffic along the Midlothian Turnpike or along the Woolridge Road corridor during rush hour can be brutal. And if you're trying to get across the river to Henrico County, you're relying heavily on Route 288 or paying Powhite Parkway tolls. Plus, housing prices have surged. A few years ago, the median price was vastly lower. Today, getting into a top-tier neighborhood in Midlothian will cost a premium. Number 3, Moseley. Now what if you want something newer, cleaner, a little more spread out? Moseley has become one of the biggest relocation magnets in Chesterfield County, especially for buyers looking for that fresh suburban feel without being quite as built out as it would be in Midlothian or Short Pump. This is the part of Chesterfield where you'll find newer homes, community pools, sidewalks, playgrounds, clubhouses, walking trails, and residents who moved here for a very specific lifestyle. This is not old Richmond. It's not urban, it's not historic. Moseley is about space, convenience, newer homes, and master plan living. In 2025, almost half of Metro Richmond's 12,000 new residents settled in Chesterfield County, and the majority of those ended up in Moseley. The neighborhoods here really drive the story. You have master plan communities like Magnolia Green, which has become one of the signature communities in the entire Richmond region, with golf, pools, trails, tennis, pickleball, and a true resort-style feel. Then you have Fox Creek with its clubhouses, water park-style amenities, walking trails, and beautiful newer homes. A little further south, Harper's Mill gives you bigger lots and lots of dedicated green space. Chesterfield's local government continues to invest heavily in this western part of the county. Road construction, medical facilities, and new residential communities are all part of the agenda. So if you want to buy in a part of Richmond where the growth curve is still tracking upward, Moseley is definitely an area to watch. But here's the trade-off. Moseley is growing fast, and with fast growth comes growing pains. Hall Street Road, especially around Brandermill, can be a real grind, especially during rush hour. And if you're commuting to downtown Richmond, the West End, or Innsbruck every day, you need to be honest about your drive times. You are not 5 minutes away from everything. You're choosing a new suburban lifestyle, but you're definitely going to spend more time in the car. And Moseley may not be the right fit for you if you're looking for historic charm, walkable village-style living, or mature neighborhood with huge old trees. This area is newer, more planned, more HOA-driven, definitely more suburban. For a lot of buyers, that's exactly the point. But for others, it may feel a little too new or too cookie cutter. Number 4, Mechanicsville. What if you're looking for a more laid-back spot with a bit more breathing room? Well, that's where Hanover County, and specifically the Mechanicsville area, comes in. Hanover is known for its quieter pace, conservative values, and deeply rooted history. It feels very different from the high-density corporate buzz of Henrico's far west end, or the rapid master plan growth of western Chesterfield. Hanover places a major emphasis on outdoor space, parks, and preservation, featuring recreational complexes like Pole Green Park, historic sites, sports fields, trails, and access to a more rural landscape as you move further away from Mechanicsville. You'll find everything here from traditional subdivisions to master plan communities like Ash Creek in Rutland, all the way up to custom homes on 1 to 5 acre wooded lots. You get historic country properties, beautiful stands of trees, and a sense of separation from more intense retail and office corridors. The trade-off? While some parts of Hanover are more affordable than Short Pump, inventory in the most desirable pockets can move incredibly fast. Because Hanover prides itself on its more rural, low-density vibe, it doesn't have the same concentration of luxury retail stores or trendy dining options. For major shopping or certain medical visits, you may find yourself driving to Henrico or downtown Richmond, which can add up to longer drives. So the appeal here is pace and space, but you're probably going to give up some convenience. One quick note before we continue. A lot of home buyers have 2 big priorities: good schools and low crime when they're shopping for a place to live. But fair housing ethics explicitly prevents me from giving advice about good schools or bad schools, or steering you toward or away from certain neighborhoods based on crime stats. What I can do is point you to some great online resources that help you to evaluate schools and crime rates across the Richmond Metro. So if you'd like me to send you those links, just text me and I'll be happy to send them over. And if you ever have questions about Richmond that warrant a longer discussion, just click the link in the description below to schedule a call. Number 5, Chester. If you like Chesterfield County, but don't necessarily like Midlothian prices or the master plan community feel of Moseley, Chester may be one of the most overlooked options in the entire Richmond Metro. Chester gives you that practical, everyday suburban lifestyle, established neighborhoods, convenient shopping, access to major highways, and a little more value than some of the hotter western Chesterfield suburbs. This is the kind of place where buyers will say, I just want a solid house, a good yard, a manageable commute. I don't have to live in the trendiest part of town. Chester is not trying to be Short Pump. It's not trying to be the luxury side of Midlothian. It's more down to earth and in many cases more attainable for buyers who still want single family living in Chesterfield County. When I look at Chester on the map, the big advantage is access. You're close to I-95, I-295, Route 288 and Route 10, which means you can easily make your way around the entire Richmond Metro. You'll find a wide mix of housing here. Older brick ranchers, traditional subdivisions, newer townhome communities, and pockets of larger homes closer to Rivers Bend, Meadowville, and the Route 10 corridor. The area is also benefiting from major employment growth nearby, especially in the area around Meadowville Technology Park. So for buyers who work in logistics, manufacturing, healthcare, education, or anywhere along the I-95 corridor, living in Chester can make a ton of sense. But Chester does come with trade-offs. First, it doesn't have that same polished destination feel that you get in Short Pump or Midlothian or certain new master plan communities in Moseley. Some parts feel very established, some feel transitional, some commercial corridors can feel very very busy or dated. Second, traffic around Route 10 and I-95 can be frustrating, especially during peak commuting times. The access is a major advantage, but when you have that many roads converging in one location, congestion is just going to be part of the deal. And finally, Chester won't be the first choice for buyers looking for high-end restaurants, luxury retail, and a walkable town center lifestyle. This is more of a practical suburb, convenient, accessible, and often more affordable, but not necessarily flashy. And for the right buyer, this is exactly why it works. Number 6, Goochland. Our next stop is a unique gem that's growing fast but still feels like a rural retreat, the eastern edge of Goochland County. Historically known for massive country estates, equestrian farms, and wide open spaces along the James River, Eastern Goochland has exploded in popularity primarily because it sits adjacent to Short Pump. This area's become a hotspot for high-end buyers looking for custom-built luxury homes with ultimate privacy and still 15 minutes or less away from Short Pump Town Center. It's where you'll find premium golf communities like the Kinloch Golf Club and luxury neighborhoods like the Meadows at Joe Brook Farm. It offers a gorgeous rolling hill landscape with low county taxes. Plus, with the expansion of the West Creek Business Park, which houses giant employers like Capital One, and new high-speed internet infrastructure expanding west, it's become a premier destination for corporate executives and buyers who want privacy without feeling totally disconnected from the West End. The downsides here are pretty obvious. Entry prices are exceptionally high. Because it's transitioning rapidly from rural to luxury suburban, you have the stark contrast of old country roads intersecting with brand new estate entrances. Local shopping inside Goochland itself is minimal, meaning you're heavily dependent on the far west end of Richmond for daily needs. The lifestyle here is beautiful and private, but it comes with a higher price point and more driving. Number 7, New Kent. If Moseley is the newer master planned suburb to the southwest of Richmond, New Kent is the rural growth corridor to the east. This is where buyers go if they want more land, more privacy, newer construction, golf communities, but they still want to maintain their connection to both Richmond and Williamsburg. New Kent has a completely different feel than Short Pump, Midlothian, or Chester. It's quieter, more open. It has rolling countryside, farms, vineyards, golf courses, and a slower pace of life. But don't mistake quiet for stagnant. Between 2020 and 2024, New Kent County was the fastest growing county in all of Virginia. Location is the big story here. You're right along Interstate I-64 between Richmond and Williamsburg, with multiple interstate exits that help connect residents to the Richmond region, the airport, Williamsburg, and even parts of Hampton Roads. That really explains the appeal. You'll find established rural properties, newer subdevelopments, and sprawling planned communities like the farms of New Kent or Vinatera. These offer golf and other amenities, wooded surroundings, and home sites that can be much larger than you would find closer to Richmond. And that's the appeal. New Kent gives you the feeling of being far away from the congestion without feeling totally disconnected. For buyers who want newer construction, more elbow room, or a quieter lifestyle outside the other more congested suburbs, New Kent is becoming a serious contender. But it's not for everybody. The biggest downside is distance. If you're going to be commuting every day into downtown Richmond or the West End, you better map that drive carefully before purchasing here. I-64 access is a huge plus, but once you're out in New Kent, you're committing yourself to a car-dependent lifestyle. Second, you're just not going to have the same breadth of shopping, dining, entertainment, medical options, or everyday conveniences that you would have if you were in Henrico or Chesterfield. Some buyers love that because it keeps the area quiet. Others may feel like they're always having to drive back to Richmond to do their errands. And third, New Kent is changing. Its rural character is a big part of its appeal, but growth is coming. New homes, new businesses, new infrastructure. So buyers need to understand that they're not just buying into quiet countryside. They may well be buying into a county that's actively transitioning from rural to suburban, at least in some corridors. For certain buyers, that growth is going to be exciting. For others, it may be exactly the thing they were trying to escape. So there you have it. 7 of Richmond's most popular suburbs and some of the main reasons why people are choosing to settle here instead of within city limits. In case you're interested, I have a Richmond home buying guide that's packed with lots of information about Richmond City and its surrounding counties. Just click the link in the description below if you'd like a free copy. Did any of these 7 suburbs stand out to you? If so, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your opinion. And my number's on the screen. Feel free to text or call anytime if I can do anything for you. It's been great having you on today's tour. I'll see you in next week's video.